Yo, what is up guys? I'm bringing you a brand new video, and this time we're doing a Sycraia grind. In this video, I grind for 15 minutes and I gain 1,267 trash loot, which over the course of 4 15-minute periods would be 5,050 trash loot in an hour. In this video, I am using a perfume because I am showing the theoretical maximum that you should be able to gain while you are 293 AP Kutum on a Berserker and in Awakening. But I do not recommend using a perfume. Typically, this is only just a theoretical maximum video, but we can learn a lot from videos like these in improving your grind, which is kind of what the goal of this video is today. So the first thing to improve your grind is definitely paying attention to how I do the pulls. Now, in this particular video, you will notice constantly that I am leaving behind packs of mobs and dragging them to the next if that pack of mobs has slightly lower HP left over after that pack, essentially. The only exception is on this pack right here, where you cannot drag the mobs to the next pack. But in every other pack, you are able to drag mobs from one pack to the next, and chaining those mobs together is very important to increasing your trash loot. Because if you spend time sitting back and killing 3 or 4 mobs that have 20% HP left, you are going to be wasting time, because Sycraia is a grind spot that is all about hitting the most amount of mobs as you possibly can. So you'll notice right here, I just leave those mobs, I go on to the next pack. So it's very important to do something like that, because you're going to overall increase your trash quite dramatically just by that one thing. And it's not inherently obvious that you do that here, because every other grind spot in the game really doesn't work like that. So keep that in mind. The second thing that I want to point out is the skill rotation that I use as a Berserker. Now, a typical pack, I walk up, I will do 2 auto attacks, Frenzy Destroyer, Headbutt into ground lifting. From there, I will either use Devastation or I will immediately go into a spin. And that is depending on if Devastation is off cooldown. So Devastation at this particular grind speed is not up by the time you get to the start of every pack. But if you are grinding slow enough where it is, I do recommend using it before every pack as they are grouping together. Additionally, I have noticed that if you only use 1 tick of Devastation instead of watching the full duration play out, you're going to get very similar results, whether you watch the animation or not. But I have noticed that it may be slightly faster in certain situations to just use 1 tick of Devastation instead of the entire animation. So use that to your own, for your own knowledge, essentially. Just maybe practice that yourself. I found in this video, in certain scenarios, I'll choose to use the entire animation or just 1 tick. It just sort of depends. Now, another thing you need to consider is Ancient Wave as an ability. Ancient Wave is also another very good ability to use before you go into a spin. So if I walk up to a pack and I do 2 auto attacks, Frenzy Destroyer, Headbutt, Ground Lifting, Devastation, I can either go straight into a Rabomb spin, or I could potentially use Evasion, like the skill Evasion, go behind the mobs, and then use General Disarray, followed by an Ancient Wave Split Shot. And if I can get Ancient Wave Split Shot to back attack a large majority of the mobs, it is absolutely worth using. You can notice right there, I just Ancient Wave the Endermole, and then I went into a spin. So very important for you to utilize Ancient Wave as it is up, because it's going to increase your grind quite dramatically. The last thing I want to talk about is your Z buff. So when you're using Z buff, definitely take the one that gives you the 45% critical hit rate. As a Berserker, if you go into your skill tree and scroll to the very bottom, you have the option of having either some AP and attack speed or the 45% crit rate. Now, the attack speed is not that great because it doesn't stack with our Awaken buff where we do 2 autos and get 20%. So definitely take the crit buff. You're going to increase your grind speed quite dramatically just by making that change. So you would want to unlock the one with the crit. Other than that, if you follow this particular path of pulling the mobs, you follow the skill rotation that I use, and essentially the buffs that I'm using, I do recommend the Frenzy Draft. You should be able to increase your trash loot quite dramatically. Now, I do recommend to you that you use main rotation. I have tried grinding in several other rotations, and the trash loot sort of pales in comparison to main. It's not to say that, other rotations are terrible and you should never use them, but if you had the option, I would definitely choose main. With that being said, guys, I'm going to let the rest of the video play out, and I hope you enjoy it, and I'll see y'all in the next one.